Data as a service is a concept where we're offering data to our customers on demand, and they're getting the benefit of sophisticated data capabilities without necessarily having the underlying infrastructure.
Hello, BigChange community. It's Jonathan here, and welcome to another episode of Field Service Stories. In our previous episodes, we've had guests talk an awful lot about data and the benefits it brings to their business. Today, I'm joined by Alekhya, a senior product manager who has been overseeing the data as a service and reports initiatives. Alekhya, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks, Jonathan. I'm glad to be here.
Tell me a bit about your role at BigChange and which areas of the platform particularly are you most interested in developing?
Sure. So as a data and insights product manager, I support the data side of the platform, which basically means I work with our development team to build products where customers can use to make data-driven decisions, so they can make informed decisions using data. I'm also responsible for ensuring that the product we're delivering is user-friendly and valuable at the same time.
Data has kind of come to the forefront of people's minds in recent years. Why do you think that is?
You can't manage what you can't measure is what we say, right? It's a popular saying. So without data, it's almost you're going blindfolded. You don't know whether you're making a profit or your operations are going as per how you planned. You need something to baseline. You need something to benchmark yourselves against, and this is why data is becoming more and more important.
You mentioned that you can't manage what you can't measure, and there's a book that we're actually reading as part of the BigChange book club called "Measure What Matters" by John Dewar. It's a fantastic book, isn't it? Highly recommend to some of our customers. But we're not here to talk about the book. We're here to talk about a lot of things to do with data. We've launched something called DaaS, Data as a Service. In simple terms, what is DaaS?
Data as a service is a concept where we're offering data to our customers on demand, and they're getting the benefit of sophisticated data capabilities without necessarily having the underlying infrastructure to manage the data warehouse. So our customers wanted to get data out of the BigChange platform. So data as a service is just what it does. It helps customers extract this data from the system, and they can build their own reports, dashboards, whatever they want off the back of this data without depending on BigChange. So they are in full control of the data. They can get data whenever they want on demand, and they can build their own reports off the back of it. Everything is in one place. So that's basically what data as service is all about.
By having the data in near real time, it allows them to respond in near real time as well.
Exactly that. And that's, again, the beauty of having everything in one place and having ready access to this, as you're not going down the route of generating a report for this and then getting APIs for that. And imagine how long it can take for you to put all that data together in a unified way to get insights out of it. And whereas if you have something like data as a service, it's just right there. All you have to do is just query it, and it saves a lot of time. And that also enables customers to respond and react much quicker, which is very important in these days.
Absolutely. In some of the previous podcasts that we've done, there's been some terms thrown around that people might not be familiar with. So we've heard things like data warehouse, data mart, business intelligence. Those are three terms that perhaps are used quite frequently. And you'll know what they are, but for the benefit of people watching this, what is a data warehouse? What is a data mart? Business intelligence, it sounds very mysterious. What do they mean?
Yeah, so great question. So data warehouse, to put it simply, think about it like a very well-structured, organized inventory of your data. So think about it like a clothing store. So you have your women's wear, kids' wear, men's wear, all segregated. So when it's organized in that way, you're much more likely to get what you want. Much quicker, isn't it? So the same concept is applied to your data warehouse as well, where your data is structured in such a way where you know exactly what this particular entity or this mart means, and then you can get the data out easier. And data marts, so that sort of dovetails into what a data mart is. It's just basically a division of your data warehouse. So we have multiple modules within JobWatch application. So you have your jobs, for example, sales opportunities, quotations, invoices, stock, for example. And data mart represents data from that specific entity. So you have a jobs mart, which represents data from the jobs entity, your sales opportunity mart, which represents data from your sales opportunity entity. So like that clothing store analogy we just talked about, so you have your men's and kids section and women's section. So you have your jobs mart, your sales opportunity mart, your resources mart, everything structured and well organized within the warehouse. So all you need to know is, well, if I want a job report, I know where to go. We also have a comprehensive documentation through our developer portal. So it's quite easy for customers to understand what that specific field means or where I can find a specific piece of data.
And business intelligence,
yes.
What's that?
So now we talked about the warehouse and we talked about the mart, right, which represent different entities. Now that's great, but how do you actually make sense of these millions of rows of data that you have within data warehouse? So that's when your business intelligence tool comes into picture. So it's basically a facade on top of your data warehouse, which gives you visual insights into your data, whether it's jobs or finances or whatsoever. So we use a tool called Pan Intelligence, which is embedded into our product. But some of our customers use Power BI, Tableau. There's lots of business intelligence tools that are out there in the market, which provide more functionality for you to slice and dice your data by various dimensions.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, the data warehouse is kind of like the Excel spreadsheets behind the scenes of where they're all held, and then the business intelligence system is the pretty stuff that makes it look good with charts and tables and all of that type of thing.
Exactly.
You mentioned Pan Intelligence. Do I have to use Pan Intelligence, or are there other tools out there which I could use?
No. Pan Intelligence is something that we've embedded on our platform, and it is based off of the same underlying warehouse that we're providing DaaS on. So customers can use any BI tool they want. It doesn't have to be Pan Intelligence.
Which are the common ones that customers might want to use?
Most of our customers use Power BI.
Okay.
Some of them also use Tableau, but it tends to be Power BI in most cases.
Okay, awesome. We talked about this data warehouse, and we're going to funnel lots of BigChange data in there. But from what I understand, the main power of a data warehouse is bringing loads of different types of data, not just from BigChange into it. What sort of charts would you recommend that we build to visualize our data? Are there any any key things that we should measure?
So customers, what customers want to measure is, let's say it's twofold. There's the retrospective data, so past trend analysis and things like that, but there's also the future prediction data. So if I give you some examples of retrospective data, customers want to know how well the jobs are performing. What's my job success rate? Are my resources being 100% utilized, or is there an opportunity for me to optimize my resourcing? What's my first time fix look like? So and how profitable are my jobs or my group jobs? So that tends to be more in that retrospective range of what happened yesterday, and I want to have a view of month-on-month trends, year-on-year trends. And when it goes to the future predictability, it is stuff like, do I have enough resource capacity based on my past data? Can you predict and tell me if I have enough resources to manage my jobs in the future?
That's great if you do seasonal work or you have spikes based on certain times of year.
Exactly. So your customers can be proactive than reactive with the data, and that is the feedback a lot of times customers give us is this data is good, I can react to it, but I want to be proactive, which makes sense. And if you want to know like what money you're going to make in the next 6 months with the jobs you have planned or scheduled, or what cost you're going to incur, that's going to be a great opportunity for customers to get value out of that product. So they can generate any of these metrics that I've just called out using DaaS.
And I think you touched on a couple of things, such as the optimization of routes potentially, or the ability to ensure all resources are as efficient as possible. Unless you visualize the data, these things can't necessarily be improved upon. It's only when you see the data in bar charts or table forms that you can identify any challenges, improve upon them and then effectively save money in the process.
That's exactly what it is. So you have the data, you benchmark yourselves, you look at the data, you know exactly where you are, and perhaps you could benchmark yourselves or set some targets for yourselves to say, well, my resource utilization is only 30% now. I want to set myself a target to improve it by 50%. And then you can measure the data back from the point forward, and you can see, have you actually made that progress? And the data is right in front of you to narrate that clear picture.
Are there any key metrics that we've seen customers utilize that without the power of DaaS would go completely unmeasured, possibly completely unchallenged, and they wouldn't be able to improve upon?
Yeah, certainly. I think the most important KPIs would be somewhere along the lines of job performance. How well are my jobs performing? Job success rate is another one to look at as well. Resource utilization. How well are my resources utilized? Are they 20% utilized? Are they 100% utilized? Is there any scope for me to optimize my resources and stuff like that? And also profitability tends to come up a lot as well. Customers do want to know, ultimately it all boils down to the revenue, isn't it?
Yeah.
So customers want to know how profitable their jobs are. Are there any gaps? Are there any specific dimensions where they're losing money? Is there a specific product they're losing money on or a specific contact? So you can you have the intelligence to dive and dissect this data by various dimensions, which is a lot easier and straightforward effort using the DaaS service because you have that in front of you. You could also use our standard dashboards, but obviously our standard dashboards are limited in terms that it doesn't accommodate for custom processes, custom fields. So if you have a lot of custom fields and processes and you are someone who uses a system slightly differently, then our standard dashboards might not work. Whereas DaaS, it just bypasses that. So it's very flexible. You can generate any reports you want. And some customers also want to understand the future trends. So they want to predict what revenue am I going to make in the next 6 months to a year? What's my resource capacity is going to look like? So if am I going to have more resources or less resources based on the historic trends? So there's just two angles of that report. One is the retrospective data. Tell me what my data is telling, how well we've been performing as a business, setting up benchmarks and constantly measuring that. And the other side is your prediction as to what can happen, what can go wrong, or how can I be better equipped, better prepared with the data I have? How can I be more proactive?
So let's look at resource utilization, perhaps. I think, how much detail can I go into? For argument's sake, can I see resource utilization just as a headline figure? Or can I delve into perhaps groups of resources or individual resources or resource utilization across different types of jobs? What's the depth of the detail I can go into?
All of that.
Okay.
all of what you've just mentioned.
Okay.
So the dashboards we produced gives you an idea of what you can achieve with DaaS. So typically, it tends to be the zoomed out view of your resource utilization figures at 100% benchmark, or what percentage of time your resources are spending driving, driving, on job, on absences, and on none of those. So some people class it as a non-productive work, so they're not doing anything at this time.
Yeah, nothing that's making money.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see all of that. And then that gives you a snapshot view for the last week, last month, however you set your filters up. And you can drill down exactly as you mentioned. I want to know about this specific resource, what they've been up to, what time did they spend on driving, when did they go to job, how long did they drive, and all of that. But I can also do it by resource group. So it can be that there is a certain pattern or behavior that is obvious for that resource group, and that's expected for them to have like a less utilization perhaps, because they're probably also managing other office duties, admin stuff. So you can slice that data by resource type, job type, and all those various things as well. So you can go as granular as you want, or you can get like that zoomed out view of your data as well.
What other types of data could I put in my data warehouse, and why would I want to do that?
So there are lots of benefits in having your data in a warehouse. First being, it acts as that central repository for all your data. So you're getting that unified view, which is very helpful when it comes to analysis of that data. Secondly, it is optimized for querying and reporting. So it's built for that very specific purpose. So you're more likely to get a faster outcome and a better outcome when you're using that for reporting. And as we're building these marts, as in we're warehousing, we cleanse the data, we deduplicate it and all that. So you're also working with better quality and consistent data as well. So it's got lots of advantages as to why it's a sensible direction to take.
Okay. On our website, we're proud to say that this is powered by Snowflake. Who are they, and why have we decided to use them for this product?
So Snowflake is a cloud data warehouse platform. So we have chosen Snowflake because it's one of the cutting edge, most secure, efficient, seamless ways of data extraction we can provide to our customers without them having to manage the underlying infrastructure. So I guess they get the benefit of using the high-end data capabilities without actually having to maintain their own physical infrastructure for that. And that's the route we have taken. And we also wanted to provide flexibility to our customers in terms of billing. So by going down this route, customer technically owns their own Snowflake account, so they can see how much they've used, how much they're paying. They can monitor their spend and usage accordingly.
How long does it take to get up and running with a data warehouse? So let's say I'm interested. Is it something I can try for a period of time? And if I want to see it in action, how long does it take to get my data into my data warehouse?
So we suggest that the process is quite simple. It's 5 minutes process for you to set up your Snowflake account.
Yeah, very quick.
Very, very quick. It's just an online, enter your details and set up your Snowflake account. Again, we have provided the instructions on our developer portal as to how you can do that. And once you've done that, you have to provide us your Snowflake account ID so we can link it up to our Snowflake. So this is where we then create a single tenant view of your data. So what I mean by single tenant here is we have data for all customers. So when you give us your ID, we slice up the data
like a filtered view.
Filtered view to just yourself and your data. We then give access to that data share into your Snowflake account. So we take up to 7 business days. We ask for 7 business days lead time. But a lot of times it's done much quicker than that for us to set up that account. And then it's the data is in your hands really to start making use of.
Am I able to try this for a period of time to make sure it's right for me?
We are offering a 1-month free trial, and Snowflake also offers a 1-month free trial. If I'm not wrong.
So I can try it for
free from both. Yeah, you create your Snowflake account for free. You get your DaaS account for free. So you basically have a free product on your hands to try for a month, see whether you like it. And we're also receptive to customers' feedback. We want to know if there's anything missing. How can we make the product better? Incorporate those changes along the way.
Okay, so if I sign up for the trial, do I only get to see data in my data warehouse from when I sign up to the trial, or do I get data from the last couple of months? How much data gets put into my data warehouse on the first day?
Yeah, good question again. So the data is available from the 1st of January 2020 onwards. So you have plenty of data. No matter when you sign up, you still get access to all of your previous data as well.
Okay, so that should be enough for me to build a pretty good business picture on any trends that are needed.
Yeah, that's about 4.5 years worth of data that you have there already.
Okay, so we've got our data in our data warehouse. It's been preloaded from 1st of January 2020. How do I get to see that data? Because we need business intelligence tools. Who's responsible for setting those types of tools up and building the dashboards and the data? Who's going to do that?
Yep. Okay. Another good question. So you've got the data. You signed up for DaaS. You got the data. You like the product. What's next?
Yeah.
So there's 2 ways for you to visualize your data. You can either use Snowflake's inbuilt dashboarding functionality, Snowsite, to build simple visual charts. They're not as functional though, so you won't be able to necessarily slice and dice by various dimensions, but you can still get a simple graphical view of
How much technical ability do I need to do that?
Customers will need to have a data team internally, to a data team who understands data analysis and how to build reports. So with that skill set, they can then produce their own reports. So we suggest that they have a data team to do this, or have either a third-party supplier IT supplier who can support this. Some of our customers do have third-party IT suppliers. Now, from our experience so far after launching DaaS, what we've understood is not every customer has either an inbuilt team or a third-party supplier available straight away when they start with DaaS. Sometimes they just want to get a feel for what it can do. So if that's the case and customers need that support, our team is happy to work with the customer to just get them started, build some simple charts, visualizations, either in Power BI or within Snowflake to get them started.
How big would you say a company needs to be before they can make use of DaaS? Because the challenge is a smaller organization doesn't have as many people in the back office. And so the amount of time to set up, configure, perhaps analyze data, proportionately is a lot harder for a smaller organization because they've got less people to do those types of things. Is DaaS something that's suitable for a wide variety of sizes?
So we have built DaaS specifically by keeping the needs of our enterprise customers in mind. So customers who have multiple sites or large volumes of data or have data in other systems that they want to blend the BigChange data with. And these customers also typically tend to have the technical team with that the data skill set who can create the reports and dashboards. But that doesn't mean that the product is just limited for enterprise customers. So any customer who's inputting the data and who wants to have an easy way to get access to this data and who's got the skill set to build their own reports, don't want to depend on BigChange or customization reports and requests and all that, who want to have a better control of their data, can leverage the solution. So it's nothing to do with size. As long as customer has these specific needs that they want to fulfill, they can give DaaS a go.
For smaller organizations, we've talked about who can use us to get the most out of DaaS. What type of reports or off-the-shelf features can we give to them to benefit from using their data?
So for smaller businesses, I would highly recommend them to use the standard dashboards that we're already offering within the platform.
This is totally separate to DaaS?
This is totally separate to DaaS. It's driven from the same underlying data warehouse. So I would highly recommend using the standard dashboards. And if they have very specific need for such as customizations and the thing they're going to expand anytime soon and they want to constantly have these reports, new reports accessed and built, we can help them set up technically whatever they need. Like if they don't have the expertise, we have a team of developers who can sit down with the customer, just go through their needs and build some simple charts to get them started.
That's awesome. Alekhya, thank you very much for joining me today. If you'd like any further information on DaaS, data as a service, business intelligence dashboards, or BigChange as a whole, do click on the links in the description below. On behalf of Alekhya and I, we'd like to thank you for watching another episode of Field Service Stories, and we hope you stay tuned for another episode shortly. Thank you.